Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading. In this specific video, we're going to cover for your sign how the new start or the new beginning that is happening right now as a result of the new moon, how is that going to impact you, benefit you, and how that would expand in 2022 when Jupiter will come in the very same spot again with Neptune, expanding what you're starting right now in its impact and its benefits. Aquarius, for you, the new moon or the new start or the new seeds that we are planting right now are happening in your house of self worth and net worth. It is your finances house that is being activated by this new moon, and there could be a new beginning in your earning or the source of earning or the way you look at earning or the kind of assets you possess. There might be a shift in that. There might be an addition or a new beginning over there. You might be thinking about starting something new, which helps you gain more value out of your talents. This is money, this is resources, this is assets, this is even the food that we consume. This is also how we value ourselves and how our personal assets and resources, how are they valued. We're trying to sort of take a hold of that. We're trying to have a new start in that. And this is fresh energy being infused in that house that compels us to review our finances, compels us to review our diet, propels us to look at our survival instincts. What are we feeding on? How do we value ourselves? How are we valued for the work we deliver? And can we survive without the support of others? Are there comfort issues that are blocking us from moving forward in some ways? Are there security issues which are not letting us progress forward in life in some ways? And material affairs will come into focus with that. You would sort of look at your bank balance and see, do I need a business manager or somebody to take hold of my investments? There might be some new ideas to make money that might be coming as well. This is disposable income, this is regular salary, new opportunities, new desire to earn more, new desire to spend more on things that are close to you, that feel in some ways close to your soul. It sort of fills your soul, it makes you feel happy, and you want to invest in something, buy an asset or something, and you want to streamline your finances to get there. What happens is that this new self esteem, this new feeling of wanting to feel good about yourself and investing in self growth, investing in your life in some ways, getting more in touch with your senses, it will propel you to do more in some ways. You'll look at new avenues in some ways of making money. There might be certain projects you might be initiating right now that earn you more income, more self-worth. They earn you more self-esteem in some ways. They grow you spiritually as well in how you feel about yourself. But you have Neptune in your house of money and resources and self-worth since 2012. It's a 13-year transit which began in February of 2012, and it will stay there till 2025. And we have Neptune in our house of money, self worth, resources. We are being normally asked to redefine what we derive our worth from, what we derive our value from. We sort of are redefining our self worth, and there is some amount of confusion on a practical level which comes from resources. When I see somebody with Neptune in their second house and I have it natally as well, I normally would suggest them to have somebody manage their finances, have a third party or a business manager or somebody who's a money manager to manage their resources, because there's some amount of confusion, permissiveness when it comes to money. It's like money slipped through fingers in some ways when Neptune is over here, either through spending or just purely it's like we don't think about money or don't attach value to it, and because of that, it's slippery essentially. At the same time, when Neptune is here, mostly our income comes from professions that are helping in nature. So there could be a new stream of income that you might be starting, which comes through social interactions, that come through helping people socially, which come from psychology, through healing, through yoga, through meditation, through pharmacy, through marine liquids. In some ways, these are nebulous sources where the money comes from, or they could come through your capacity to convince people, from your speech, from selling, from Neptune is media as well, Neptune is cinema as well. So, from acting, from convincing people, from supporting people psychologically through spiritual means, through nebulous means. So, there might be a new skill set as well that you might be looking to acquire at this point in time, which is going to grow in 2022 when Jupiter comes over there. It could be an asset as well in which you might be investing, which could be close to water, which might be beautiful, which might look very out of this world, like ethereal in nature, and it will grow in value in 2022. What you want to be careful about is that there is a third party or an independent judgment of the value of the asset you're buying as well. Because when Neptune is in our house of perceptions, we don't see clearly the value of what we are buying. Sometimes we tend to be permissive in overpaying for something, or we might invest in something which might be very look too good to be true. So sometimes financially we have to be careful in this regard, but it's a very good time to start something new, a new source of income, which might come from nebulous skill sets, which might come from selling skill set, from media, from marketing, from cinema, from being, or to enhance your existing assets. You might need to use media, be in front of people, use your charm a little bit more, use your ability to convince people, getting them on board with you a little bit more. Business and commercial activities which are linked to spirituality, which are linked to healing, which are linked to helping people in some ways, they will expand in 2022, and you might be seeing a new start in that. It could be other Neptunian ways in which money can be sort of had, from creative ways, from spiritual ways, from dance, from yoga, meditation, pharma, healing, liquids, marine, psychology, acting, playing instruments, being a psychic, being these are not standard ways in which the money is earned. So these are more nebulous ways, more Neptunian ways, out of this ethereal ways in which the money is earned. And there could be a new phase, a new source of income which begins from here. And at the same time, Neptune has a psychological impact, and you might have seen that from 2012 when Neptune started coming here. We start seeing security in other things. We start seeing security from other means rather than physical assets. And the lesson of Neptune over here is to redefine what we derive our worth from. We have to derive our worth from beyond material assets and possessions. We redefine our self-worth. Self-worth becomes very nebulous when Neptune is here. We sometimes don't see our own worth very clearly when Neptune is here. Our boundaries are a little bit lower when Neptune is here. So we become very permissive in nature. And because of that, the financial aspect has to be taken care of, because we can fall victim to financial scams sometimes here, like quick rich schemes, because we get convinced a little bit more. To gambling only for fun kind of a thing is said when Neptune is here, and you want to be careful. We don't realize our true worth of our talents when Neptune is here. That's why an independent judge sometimes is needed, or there are phases when we get the glimpse of possibly that we are being given less than what we deserve, and we sort of might agree to something financially which may not be as good for us, and that could happen right now. We got to be a little bit careful at this time, especially around 29th of March when we have Mercury and Neptune together. If there's a new financial prospect, if it is being proposed by somebody else and it looks too good to be true, you got to be a little bit careful of that. but starting a new revenue stream, which comes from helping professions, which comes from creative professions, which comes from media, marketing, which comes from acting, which comes from sort of having that convincing soft skills, which help convince people, playing an instrument, creative stuff. That's excellent right now. Neptune at a psychological level dissolves our outer security. It's sort of like we are supposed to derive a security from beyond physical worldly assets when Neptune is here. That is the psychological lesson of Neptune. It strips away the thought process. Every time we feel that we're secured in something, it takes that source of security away because it wants our core to be strong. It wants the security to not be derived from external things but from things that are within us in some ways. It also wants the value to be placed on faith in life. Instead of having faith in a physical asset, having faith in our flow of life. And Neptune over here makes us very unsure of our inner value and worth. We don't appreciate sometimes our own talents, our own gifts, our own ancestral value that we have inherited from before. And through a process of chipping away that cloud, Neptune is going to make it clear to you that you are deserving, that you have gifts that are worthy of it. And you'll see that this new beginning that you're having right now, you would get another whiff of that from June to December when certain blind spots, for example, if you're starting a new revenue source, you're starting a new financial contract, you're starting a new investment, you're starting a new revenue resource, you suddenly would realize I'm not charging enough, or I'm not valuing my talents enough, I'm not seeing my talents enough. So there's a new phase in realizing your self worth and the worth of your talents and the worth of your skill set and the worth of your inner strength and your own God given gifts, which is emphasized by Neptune over here. And the external assets and the external revenue and the external money is not supposed to be what makes you feel whole. It is the impact you're making through your gifts which is supposed to make you feel whole. And money comes as a byproduct of feeling comfortable in your skin. Jupiter will come in your house of money and resources next year. Jupiter is right now in your sign, so you're expanding the opportunities that are ahead of yourself. The very frame with which you look at your life, Aquarius, that is being expanded in 2021 when we have so much of concentration of planets on you. We spoke about it in the 2021 annual video as well, but you realize it, you see it when the number of opportunities that are coming in front of you, they will be multiple in nature. Neptune intuitively will guide you towards which one is more close to your path, which one is more in line with your value system, which path is more supposed to fill your soul. This is the house of how we feed ourselves. And sometimes we try to feed ourselves with food when we are not feeding our soul. So Neptune tries to highlight that part to you. It could happen through sensitivity to something we are consuming, and just sheerly like buying things are not fun anymore. Uh, and you feel that I was trying to fill a gap by buying things or by eating, and there was something else I was trying to suppress with that. So there's a realization of a new way of filling yourself, filling your cup, which arises with Neptune and this new moon and this new star that's happening right now. It's a new phase in valuing yourself. It's a new phase in valuing your assets, valuing your nebulous asset, valuing your inner assets, your talents as well as in some ways getting a grip of the external assets, taking a stock of it. But as I said, you may not be in the best place to do that. You might need somebody else to do it. I would always suggest somebody to delegate the financial matters which require details, analysis, etc. with Neptune over here. Um, and it's a very good time to start a new source of income which comes to helping profession through Neptunian, which I just explained, and it will grow in its strength and influence and impact in 2022. whatever you are planting, you're initiating right now, you're seeding right now, it will go through review process between June. After June, there will be certain blind spots that will come out, but at the same time in 2022 it will grow in its impact and its strength. So look out for that. Enhance your skill sets. If you feel that your skill set, you're not being paid for what you deserve, your skill set need upgrade, this is a good time to acquire skill sets that enhance your market value, enhance your value, and add to what you truly want to do. Sort of gives that Neptunian flair to what you want to do. For example, you are in a profession, but you really want to be in with Neptune over here, you really want to be earning from where your face is in front of people in some ways. So enhancing your physical assets in some ways are also suggested. You might be looking at, at some embellishments and how you look and your physical assets, buying things that make you feel good in your skin, whatever makes you feel sort of in your element, doing that because you're enhancing your self-worth and net worth, whatever makes you feel better about yourself, your feels you feel more within, you know your own body. This is the kind of body I want to be in. So this is about beauty, this is about finer things in life as well. But as I said, Neptune wants you to strengthen your core, the inner value you place on yourself, the gifts you have been given, the accessories that you were gifted with. They are embellished in some ways. The sensitivity, the empathy that you have towards others, your artistic, creative imagination. Those are part of your strengths. Those are part of your gifts. They are your God-given gifts. They are the qualities within you that need to be valued more, that need to be brought out more. It's something that you can give to the world, and sort of it's something that is expected from you to share. Neptune does not have boundaries with others. It is like in some ways we are supposed to share our gifts, our natural talents, our empathy, our artistic creative flair with others. And sometimes Neptune over here, it makes us feel guilty about having money. It happens in a few cases when Neptune does that, and you have to deal with that. In some ways, we feel that um, we owe to the world or the world owes us. There is a thin line on the money. So if we have money, we feel that we owe the world. If we don't have the money, we feel that the world owes us. And we could feel a little bit like we need to be compensated in some ways. And why is this not happening? It's a mindset that needs to be dissolved. This is where Neptune plays a role, when it dissolves the sense where we place value on outer security. Once we feel secure within, the outer security is created and given. In some ways, it's Neptune is magic. In some ways, it's like if we don't pay too much emphasis on money, the money comes. But the money is like flowing through the fingers. If we try to hold it too tight, then it's like quicksand essentially. So you have to look at other things in life to uh, gain security from. They have to be based on your gifts, appreciation of yourself. And this is the house of self care. So, a new phase of taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, valuing yourself more, giving yourself more time, giving yourself the right food, the right nutrition, taking care of you. If beauty is a thing, finer things in life which makes you feel beautiful in your skin, whatever is your definition of beauty, sort of spending on it or attaching some time, giving yourself some time to take care of your body would be very important over here. And that sort of gives you benefit when Jupiter comes here in 2022. It's like an investment, or the seeds that you're planting right now, which reap their benefit. It's like the dividend comes in 2022 when Jupiter comes here, and right now you sort of are investing into your self-worth, into your skill set, into your net worth right now. In financial matters, especially around 29th of March, as I said, if something is being signed financially, as long as it's your own impetus, and you have somebody who you trust and you have taken them into consideration to examine that, it could be a very positive, high hope, visionary project which comes for your investment. But if it's a person who's convincing you and it looks just too good to be true, you want to be a little bit careful that there could be some blind spots when it comes to financial investment, and you want to be careful about it. You'll have Mars and North Node together in your house of taking risk on 26th of March. So we'll be very driven to take risk. It's a very good aspect to break out of a mold, break out of, if we have been in a state where confidence was not there, we were not feeling sure of ourselves. It sort of is very good aspect on 26th of March, which you'll start feeling from 21st of March, to sort of, take a bet on yourself, on a creative project, on giving birth to something, on taking your entire physical and mental energy and focusing it towards a creative project, a hobby, or a business project that you have taken on, or you are giving birth to a business, to your self expression, to somebody you love. You're basically giving birth to something that you love. When Mars and North Node are together, we have a karmic path to give birth to something that we love and we cherish, and that person or that thing, whether you're giving birth to a child or to a project or to a business, that person or thing is a reflection of ourselves. It's like that person is an extension of ourselves, and that person or that project teaches us self-love in the process of giving birth to it. So having Mars and North Node together, it will give you the guts. It sort of is a very gutsy aspect. It is a daredevil aspect. And having it in your house of guts, having it in your house of confidence means that you'll be completely amped up around 26th of March. It's a very positive aspect to happen. Happens once in 19 years in that place. But we got to be a little bit careful with our words around that time. I mentioned that in the part 1 of the video, in the introductory part as well. The link is in comments or in details. If you have not looked at it, take a look at that video as well. It's essentially the aspect where we'll see a lot of people saying a lot of things which they did not say before, but now they feel that it's their karmic responsibility to say it, and it will have a lot of implications which are long term in nature. So words will have a lot of power and force around that time. You can channel that in a very positive fashion because it's making a positive aspect with you, especially if you have planets around 13 degree of Aquarius, which is around 6th of February born. It can be used very, very positively. It can be used to sort of act on projects that pave your life destiny path. It's immense amount of strength, fearless strength that you can, channel in that direction. Channel towards a creative project, channel it towards love, channel it towards a business that you're giving birth to, channel it towards self-expression, towards it could be even channeled towards an investment. This is where we take a bet on ourselves, but as I said, financial matters can be fuzzy right now. So if you're taking a big bet, be sure that you have consulted the right people, the expertise about it, and it's not somebody convincing and trying to sell you something. And also be aware that there could be blind spots over there, which will come out in the open later. It could be in the field of children. It could be something, a next progression, which is happening in your house of children. So either your child is doing something very creative, something very gutsy. This is the house of courage, house of, taking a risk on yourself. So maybe your child is doing something extraordinary, or it could be a hobby. It could be something that brings you joy, and it's your karmic path to walk that path, and you take that plunge on 26th of March or around that. Especially true if you have planets around 13 degree of Aquarius or around 6th of February born. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. When Jupiter comes in your house of resources next year, something you might be planting right now that is going to reap benefits. So use this aspect that is happening right now. Neptune is intuition in choosing the right path, choosing the right source of income, choosing what appeals to your soul and not to how it looks to everybody else. Choosing something that adds an element of fantasy, an element of magic to the work you're doing, a skill set that adds that part, that charm that you naturally have to your work. So that's what the Neptunian transit that we're having right now is about. And Jupiter is going to embellish it, expand it, give you more benefit out of that in 2022. Good luck for that, Aquarius, and I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.